Hi, this is Ed Duclos, South Windsor School District Technology Content Coach. And today we're just going to work with some of the basics of Google Classroom. So what you want to do first is you'll want to go into your Drive, and then under your waffle, your 9-dot grid, you're going to come down to More, and then you're going to click on the Classroom. It's going to take you to your Classroom page. You'll have any of the classrooms that you currently belong to or have created. If you are working in a second semester, so you had your first semester classes over, you'll want to come up here to the three dots and you'll want to archive it. Okay, full year courses obviously you're just going to leave, but in this one I'm just going to show you how to set up a new class. So we're going to come up here, we're going to hit plus, and we're going to create the class, and then we're just going to go ahead and name the class. And we can at this point put in the section, the period, the subject, anything that you want, and then you're going to create it. It will take you right into it. Real quick, just to show you a couple things, you can change the theme back here. Actually, what Google tries to do is, if this were like a sports title, it would go ahead and try to have a sports background, but you can go ahead and you can change the theme, and they'll give you their wide range of gallery images, and you can see patterns here, etc. We're going to cancel out of that for the time being. The other nice feature is that you're able to go ahead and upload your photo as well. Alright, so you have your class. Now you start to say, okay, how do I get my students into my class? Well, a couple different ways that you can do it. First, you've got three tabs up top. Stream, one that we're going to use the most. Students, get things set up. And About, we'll talk about in just a minute. So click on Students. And what they do right off the bat is they give me a code. Now, what I would encourage you to do to save yourself time is just when your class comes in, they open up their Chromebooks or they're in a computer lab, and they go ahead and you give them code. And when they go into their Waffle account on SW Apps, they're going to get in the exact same way that you went in, except that when they hit the plus, it's going to join a class. And then they'll put this code in, and that will populate your classroom right here. The other way that you can do it is you can click on Invite Students, and at that point they'll go ahead and have everybody, you'll have the drop down, first initial, last initial, and you'll see their name, and you can invite each individually. Obviously, if you just give them the code, it's going to save yourself some time. The other one I want to take a look at here is the About. I used to ignore this, not really do much with it, but what we're starting to find out is that this is a good resource page. Like, for instance, I can put some of my basics, the room and everything, you can see it right there for yourself. But down here is a nice little feature where it says Add Class Material. Then I can go ahead and I can decide, like, do I have go-to things, like, for instance, a to-do list, or maybe that's big. So at this point, I would go ahead and put to-do list, and then I would go into my Drive. And once it pulls up my Drive, I could find the document. For instance, I'm going to go starred, and this is a go-to. This is the to-do list. So I double click on that, and what it does is it drops it down in here, and then I can post that and save everything. And what you see here is that basically I'm creating a resource page here. All right. One thing to keep in mind is you do have some features about adding and deleting, but you have to think this one through. If I want this to be at the top of the list, then it's going to be the last thing that I enter. Hopefully that makes sense. Basically, if I add another resource, it's going to go above the to-do list. So you kind of have to think about the organization here. So far, that's Students and About. But before we leave this, I want you to go ahead and take a look at Invite Teachers. You have a co-teacher, somebody that you want to share the classroom with, so you can have multiple teachers here. I put my picture in here. If you do not have a picture of yourself, let me know. Get in touch with me and we can grab you your school picture. And then we get to the most important feature, which is the stream. Now with the stream, you're going to see the plus down below. And this is going to be where all your assignments, announcements, etc. are posted. So if I just hover and I go up here and I create an assignment, and I just say sample assignment, and then I can leave all the directions that I want right here, because remember, this is going to be uploaded to the students in the classroom, so that when they click on it, they'll be able to get the assignment, all your directions, etc. Right down here, I'm also able to go ahead and click here, and I can decide when it's going to be due. So for instance, the 20th, and then I can actually put in a time as well. I'm going to leave that one open at this point. Another nice feature that's been added is this note as the topic feature. So if I go ahead and I click on it, because it's a new course, I don't have any topics, I go, this is like Unit 1. Now what it's just done, what it will do is create a folder, a topics folder right next to the stream. And so anytime I go ahead and put a new assignment in and I give it a topic, I essentially am creating a folder for it. If you take a look down below, I've got the paperclip, which allows me to go to my H drive, unless of course I'm working off my Chromebook, which then I don't have that access, but you can see right here I can select files from my computer. If I go next to that, that's my Google Drive. I'm going to really emphasize that one. I can put in a YouTube clip, just the URL, and I can attach a URL, basically a website or web page or something along those lines. If you take a look up top, let's say I have multiple sections. Well, I don't have to keep creating an individual assignment for each class. I can come the drop down and it has all my current classes, and I can just check the ones that I want it to go to as well. And then they'll receive the exact same assignment. The newest feature allows me to go ahead and once the students are populated, they're going to be listed right down below. The default is that it's going to go out to the entire class, all the students. But the really nice feature is if I go ahead and click off of that, what it'll allow me to do is send it out to individual students. This really allows us to differentiate, which is a fantastic new tool. The other thing that it'll allow me to do is, let's say it's a group project, and so I have 5 group leaders, and I want the document to go out to them, so therefore they can then share it to the rest of their group members. Down here, you're going to see the 3 options that I have. I can go ahead and I can assign this, I can schedule it, and I can save it as a draft. What that means is, if actually, let me back up just one second, if you allow me. I'm going to go on this drive. I am going to encourage you to go out and create the documents and send them out right off the bat. What I mean by that is this. I used to go ahead and say, hey, look, go ahead and create your initial draft and then turn it in using Classroom. Well, the student would then create the document, him or herself, and then send it back to me. The owner of that document is the student. Instead, what I do now is, for instance, if I want an initial draft, I create a very simple document that says initial draft. Done. Okay? So that's it. I save it. It's going to be in my drive. Now, when I come to this feature right here, you'll notice that it's got initial draft. I'm going to double click on that, meaning I'm going to send this out. Now, the huge thing is I am now the owner of it, even though I'm sending it out to them. Here's the thing that you can do. Now, I have the option to go ahead and the students can simply view the file. They can't do anything to it. Okay, but if I do the drop down, they can edit. Now this middle one, what this gives the opportunity to do is all my students are editing the same document. Okay, obviously there are some situations where I want that to happen, but here's the one I like the best. I want to make a copy for each student. So I push that initial draft out. The initial draft will then have the student's name on it, and then the process of them turning it in, etc. I am always the owner, so I encourage that one in a huge way. Let's get back to this, the drop down. I can assign it right now. That means it shoots it out right now. All my students have it. Or I can schedule it. So I can actually tell when I want that to go out. So for instance, if I don't want that to go out until the morning of, let's say it's going to be the 20th, or say the 19th, and it's going to be at 7:25 in the morning because that's when the class starts. and I just go ahead and I put that up. And now it's scheduled to go out at that time. What you'll see is it's saved it as a post. It's not out there yet. It's waiting in the wait list. And I'm sorry, the last one before I clicked off there, I should have showed you, was just save it as a draft. I'm not ready to do anything with it, but I want to save my work. Oh, remember, over here, it saved it under Unit 1, so here are my folders that are starting my topics right there. I think that's about everything I want to show just for the basics at this point, except for the last thing. As you hover, not only can you make an assignment, you can also create an announcement, create a question, and reuse a post. And we'll talk more on those at with other screencasts. Hopefully this has been helpful. Let me know what I can do to help you. Have a fantastic day.